Hi guys, it's been a long time no see, but welcome back to another allotment vlog. If you're new here, my name's Emma and I'm at my allotment plot in Derbyshire, South Yorkshire, that general area, up north in the UK. And I've not been here for 3 weeks, but there was a very good reason for that. I got married. And then I went on a glorious honeymoon to Mexico, and so I've not been here and I've not really thought about it. I've had a glorious time in sunny Mexico, not really thinking about my plants too much. But we came back late Friday. We are still very jet lagged. If you can see dark circles under my eyes, it's because I was awake till 5 a.m. last night, because I'm very jet lagged. But it is now Sunday afternoon and I have summoned up the courage to come to the plot just to have a little look about how it is. I've had people checking that my greenhouse hasn't blown over or the polytunnel's not blown away, but not much more than that. And this is a very special vlog because this is the 100th allotment vlog. How exciting. And also, this is the vlog where I'm going to be filling you in on how my wedding flowers went. Because if you don't know, if I didn't talk about it enough, I was trying to grow my own wedding flowers at my allotment, mainly dahlias, but other stuff as well. And if you've been following for a while, you might know some things earlier in the year did not go to plan. But we recovered, and I thought I'd get on with some little allotment jobs and talk you through sort of how the wedding flower thing went. My plan was to do a lovely aesthetic video of me cutting all of the wedding flowers and some videos of Florist Julie arranging them, and just a nice aesthetic, lovely video with some wedding footage at the end. However, as I will explain, didn't quite go so smoothly. So I've got a few clips here and there that I managed to take of the wedding flower process. But as I will get into, it wasn't quite the dreamy aesthetic cutting vlog that I imagined. So anyway, one of my jobs I'm going to do today is I'm going to cut the dahlias because I've not been here for 3 weeks and the weather's been actually all right. So there are absolutely loads of dahlias in bloom, so I've got jars to cut a bunch of dahlias, and even some varieties that hadn't come up before. So I'm seeing them for the first time. They look stunning. It's a shame it's October and I feel a frost coming. It's a shame. But I will enjoy them while I've got them. So jobs are, I'm going to cut some of the flowers. I'm also going to try and cut a bouquet for one of the other plot holders because they very kindly let me cut flowers from their plot as well. I'll explain, but yeah, very kindly let me cut flowers from their plot for the wedding as well. So I've got a little thank you card and I'm going to try and cut a bouquet for them as well. Not that they need it because they've got loads of beautiful flowers on their plot, but it's the thought that counts. Cut the flowers, and then I'm also going to try and pick some pumpkins because it's pumpkin spice season, guys, and I just want to do nice happy things today, and cutting the dahlias and picking the pumpkins seems like a nice way to ease myself back into allotment life. So let's get on and cut some flowers and pick some pumpkins. I might do the pumpkins first and the flowers last, so the flowers aren't out of water for too long. Let's go pick some pumpkins, guys. So I kind of wish I'd brought a nice aesthetic harvest basket for the pumpkin harvest, seeing as it's such a monumentous occasion. However, I forgot, so B&Q bucket it is. Some I'm going to leave to cure in the greenhouse for a couple of days, like this little uchikikiri. I will leave to cure in the greenhouse. But some I'm going to take home, and we've got one butternut squash which I'm going to take home and make soup out of. So stay tuned on the vlogs for that. But yeah, the pumpkins, I was so wholly and completely focused on the flowers that I neglected the pumpkins a little bit, which they're not terrible. They could have just done with a few more feeds, I think. Maybe the bed could have been mulched a bit more because they're only little, like one little ukijikuri, and then these are little ornamental gourds. but they will be really cute Halloween decorations. Yeah, I just sort of stopped thinking about them as soon as it got to like July and it was all wedding. The pumpkins just seemed to fall by the wayside. But we have got some, and this is more than I had last year. I only had a couple of very tiny little Jack Be Littles and Baby Boos last year, so I'm very happy. We've got loads and loads of these little decorative gourds, which, as I say, will be really cute to decorate for Halloween. And then we have got some eating pumpkins as well. We've got a tromboncino right here, which has been curing. So again, I will let that cure in the greenhouse for a little bit longer. I'll put that to one side actually, everything I'm going to put in the greenhouse for eating later. The ornamental ones I'll take home and put around the house or in the front door. Loads of these ones. And then we've got a crown prince, which I will store. So again, I'll let that cure in the greenhouse and then store it for eating later on. Crown princes are meant to be much bigger than this, hence, you know, the neglect, but at least I've got one, you know. You've got to take what you can get. So yeah, I've got a butternut squash, which I'm actually going to take home today to eat. I'm going to turn it into a soup. Sam saw a lovely butternut squash soup recipe, so that's what I'm going to do with that. And then I think I'm really, fingers crossing, hopeful we've got more pumpkins on the other plot. I'm hoping I've got a biggish Halloween carving pumpkin. I did last time I was here, but as I say, not been here for 3 weeks, so things could have changed. Got a tiny little cheeky curie covered in worms. A tiny one, a tiny pumpkin. In fact, that might just be a tiny Halloween pumpkin. Cute. Yeah, I've got absolutely loads of these gourds, which is funny because the originals of you, if you were here last year, will know the upset I had when I killed a perfectly healthy green gourd plant. Just chopped it completely when I was tidying up, and so this is rectification for my murderous killing of the green gourd plant last year. And my butternut squash. I would store this, but it got a little bit frost damaged, so I'm going to take it home and eat it anyway. I also have my original larger tromboncino that started growing earlier in the year that I'm going to put in the greenhouse to cure as well. Now, I do have a couple of dahlias on this plot, and these were seeds I panic sowed when everything was starting to go a bit wrong, so I wasn't sure if they'd flower because there's some straw flowers there, some asters there, and some lovely dahlias, and now these are actually starting to bloom and they're very beautiful, so I'm hoping I can save some tubers from these. That one's beautiful, and this one in particular is an absolutely stunning collarette with a gorgeous colouring, so I'm hoping I can save the tubers from these. But yeah, they didn't flower in time for the wedding, unfortunately, but yeah, still beautiful nonetheless, and hopefully, as I say, I can save the tubers from these that are really beautiful. And the asters have started coming out now. Again, they weren't out for the wedding, but it was okay. Oh, let me fill you in on the sunflowers as well. So again, if you were here earlier in the year, you'll know that I had some panics about the sunflowers because my whole sunflower patch mysteriously died. So I very quickly ordered some new plug plants from the internet, from Rocket Grow, and I also sowed some seeds in panic as well. And there has been a storm while I was away, so I'm not surprised that these are blown over. But we did eventually have some sunflowers for the wedding. That's a gorgeous one, look at that one. We had mostly these, what are these called? Horizon something maybe? I might have made that up. But the pale and pink ones, so we had a couple of those for the wedding. And then also my plot holder friend that I mentioned earlier had absolutely loads of sunflowers on their plot, so I was able to pick some of those. But yeah, we did eventually have sunflowers despite the entire sunflower patch dying. And also these ones, which are really interesting, fuzzy ones, I forgot I planted those. But yeah, these are being attacked by the storms at the minute, but I'm surprised they're still blooming considering how late I planted them. But yeah, lovely. Blue. So we're at the first dahlia patch, and I'll go around and I'll cut a few and I'll deadhead the ones that are dead as well, and I'll talk about how how the wedding flower cutting went. So we got married on a Wednesday, on Wednesday the 24th of September. It was a wonderful day. And we had, if you're new here, we had my dad's partner, Julie, florist Julie, making the florals for us. So I was going to provide the flowers, and then she was going to obviously present them, make the bouquets, etc., because I have no knowledge of that at all. So I spoke to florist Julie on the Friday, and we discussed what I would need, if I would need anything from the wholesalers, and we discussed that I'd grown lots of show-stopping flowers like dahlias, sunflowers, etc., etc. However, I didn't have as many filler flowers as I would have perhaps liked. So things like, I'd grown some statice, but then some of it had died. I had tried to grow some, what had I tried to grow? Yarrow, but that hadn't come up yet. Other bits and bobs. I still had all my cosmos, which was amazing. But yeah, we basically agreed that Julie would get some filler flowers from the wholesalers, and I would bump up with all the showstopper sort of dahlias, cosmos, etc., etc., zinnias. And so that was the plan. So we also agreed that I would drop the flowers off on the Monday evening before our wedding on the Wednesday. Oh my god, these are so gorgeous. Oh, I can't wait to show you these in a vase. A lot of them are over because obviously I've not been here deadheading or cutting, but still so beautiful. I hope we get a few more weeks out of them. Anyway, so yeah, I agreed with Julie to drop the flowers off on the Monday evening, which meant me and Sam would have to cut them on the Monday daytime, which was not ideal. I couldn't cut them Monday morning because I was getting my hair done at the hairdressers, so that wasn't an option, unfortunately. So yeah, we decided we'd come and cut them. Oh my god, look at this giant one. That is a dinner plate. Oh my god, isn't that amazing? What variety are you? Fairway spurt. Oh my god, gorgeous. I'm going to leave that on the plant. How amazing. Anyway, so yeah, we decided I would cut the flowers on Monday with Sam, Monday daytime, and then we'd drop them off with florist Julie on Monday evening so she could have time to process them, etc., etc., let them condition overnight. So that was the plan. So I went to the allotment on Sunday just to have a check that everything was fine. Everything was absolutely fine. The flowers were blooming away, looking really good. A lot of them hadn't started blooming yet, like a lot of them in this patch. This is the first time I've seen the blooms because they were planted late, etc., etc., and they're a bit in the shade here, which was not ideal planning. But yeah, they were still looking really nice, and I had quite a lot of blooms on the dahlias and stuff. But then it got really cold on the Sunday night. I think it went down to 4 degrees on the forecast, but the ground temperature is obviously a lot lower than that. So it went down really cold, and when we came on Monday to cut them, unfortunately, frost and cold had gotten to quite a lot of the flowers. I feel like I'm going to need a bigger vase here. My goodness, how exciting. I am going to need a bigger vase. I've only brought like 2. So we looked at the plants, and yeah, quite a few of them, which had been absolutely fine on the Sunday, had been nipped by frost. So the blooms had gone brown and crispy and weren't usable in bouquets. And yeah, I had a minor meltdown about that. I say minor, it was more towards the major end of the meltdown spectrum. Oh my god, look at that guy. I'll show you them all properly in a bit. But yeah, that was not a fun thing to find when you're cutting flowers for your wedding. Anyway, so I had a panic. Me and Sam both had a small panic. And then also it was getting quite late. We cut a bunch of flowers from our home garden, but that took way longer than we thought. So we ended up getting to the plot quite late, and then it was going dark, and you're not allowed to be on our plots after dark, so that was stressful. So yeah, it was all getting a bit much. And then to add insult to injury, I had a spray tan booked at 6 o'clock on the Monday evening at my house. So I had to leave Sam halfway through cutting. Bearing in mind, Sam's never really cut flowers before, so he didn't really know what he was doing. I mean, I'd explained it to him briefly, but, you know, he could have done with a crash course. So I had to leave to go and get my spray tan halfway through, and then come back to the plot where it was getting really quite close to dark and carry on cutting. And me and Sam were here from about 4 until about 7. It was as close to dark as it can be without actually being dark. We didn't break any rules, it wasn't actually dark, but it was getting fairly close. And then we had to go to the other plot, my friend's plot, to cut her flowers. And yeah, it was all getting a bit, it was not very aesthetic. So I did start filming the cutting process at like when we got here at like 4 o'clock, but oh yeah, it wasn't very nice. And me and Sam had a couple of arguments because we were stressed and it was the Monday before the wedding and we also had a billion other things to do. So yeah, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't the aesthetic cutting afternoon that I had envisioned. But the positive is we still got absolutely loads of flowers. We had, I think, about 15 buckets in total, something like that. It was quite astounding, actually. I have got some videos of Florist Julie's garage, which was absolutely chock-a-block with flowers. And it was amazing. Oh my God, this one's so stunning. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This is ADHD brain for you. Oh, I'm so excited I get to save all these tubers. Let's turn head view. So yeah, it wasn't quite the aesthetic, you know, come cut my wedding flowers with me vlog that I'd sort of pictured for the last, 12 months. But we did have absolutely loads of flowers, and despite the frost killing off maybe 30%, we still had loads. And Julie, bless her, Florist Julie, had ordered some extras from the wholesalers because she didn't tell me this at the time, but it stormed really badly the weekend before, and when she saw it storming, she panicked that I would be panicked, that all my flowers would have died. So she ordered a bunch of filler flowers and roses and stuff from the wholesalers. So we had, I think, about 17 buckets of flowers or something in total, which was more than we expected. It was a lot of flowers. So this is just, sorry the lighting's so poor, this is just from the first bed, and I've got 2 more beds and my dad's plot as well to cut from, and I only brought 1 vase. What do I do about that? What do I do about that? I need a bucket. I don't have any buckets that haven't got holes in. I might have to rifle through the shed to see if I've not got my biscuits in either. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I wish these had been in bloom at the wedding, but you can't have everything, can you? Anyway, so that's the story of the wedding flowers. I'll carry on cutting. Maybe I'll pretend this is my nice aesthetic wedding flower cutting vlog. This is a great day. And yeah, I'll come back to you at the end and do a bit of a debrief. Cute. So this was a much bigger dahlia haul, I must admit, than the wedding flower haul, but that's nature, isn't it? You can't fight it, you've just got to roll with it. And oh my god, these are so beautiful. And as I said, you know, we had plenty of flowers. There was no shortage of flowers at the wedding. We had all the eucalyptus from my mum's eucalyptus tree. We didn't have as many dahlias as I wanted, but we had more zinnias, we had straw flowers, we had what else did we have? Amaranthus. We had loads of amaranthus. We cut loads of stuff from our home garden, which I just sort of chucked in spares and bits and bobs. So we had plenty of flowers, and it was a beautiful day. And I was really proud of myself for even attempting to grow my own wedding flowers. It's no mean feat, I'll be really honest. And if you want a stress-free life, I don't recommend it. Those last couple of weeks before the wedding, where I'm just going to make a little bouquet for my allotment friend while I talk. Those last couple of weeks before the wedding were so stressful. They were stressful enough anyway, just getting married and being a bride and having to go to dress fittings and all this, that and the other. But add in the fact that you're growing your own flowers, and it was storms, and then it was cold, and then, yeah. But it has inspired something in me. I don't know quite what yet. I'm still trying to work out what it's inspired, but I think next year I'm still going to grow dahlias because I bloody love them and they were amazing. So I'm still definitely going to grow dahlias. And the cosmos, I've just picked some cosmos for this bouquet. Stunning, loved that. I'm going to be pickier with my varieties. I'm going to do lots more research into what varieties are best for cutting, because although I did some research this year, obviously, I could have done more. And I think because some cosmos I've got are lovely but just not very good for cutting, so I'll research that a bit more. And I think, yeah, more dahlias. More dahlias, definitely more dahlias. Cannot get enough dahlias, let's be honest. And yeah, I'm going to be very selective about which dahlia tubers I buy and where I buy from. I'm going to try and buy from UK-based growers rather than Holland-based growers. I think I made that mistake last year, this year, because I just snapped a whole dahlia. Some of the tubers, quite a lot of the tubers had issues like gall and other diseases, or didn't grow particularly well, which I think was due to the origin of the tuber. I've heard lots of good things about British grown dahlia tubers, so that's something I'm learning for next year. And also I think I might do a course. I might do a little short course on flower growing. I'll see. I always make these suggestions knowing full well I've not got all the time in the world, but yeah, I might do a little short course on flower growing and see if I learn anything, because I have really enjoyed it despite all the setbacks and everything. It's been such a fun thing to do, and the amount of compliments that the flowers got at the wedding filled me with pride. I know quite a few of them were from the wholesalers, but I'd say maybe 70% were my flowers, which I don't think is bad considering the frost and everything that we had. And it was really rewarding, and yeah, I would definitely do more research before I do it again, that's for sure, but I think I would do it again. I don't know how I would fare growing flowers for someone else, because I was obviously relaxed. It was my wedding. If it went wrong, it was only me that it would affect, so I'd have to be conscious about that, about someone else's wedding or someone else's flowers, so think about that. But overall, it was a wonderful day, wonderful flowers, despite the setbacks we had. You know, Florist Julie really pulled it out of the park. I'll be honest, without Florist Julie, been no flowers. She really stepped it up and did an amazing job, pretty much on her own. She had a little bit of help to prepare the flowers, but yeah, she mostly did it on her own. So I was really proud of her. She got many thanks in the speeches, and yeah, so that's my little posy for my allotment friend. Might just put a couple more bits of frilly little cosmos in there because that's my favourite. And I'm gonna take these dahlias home, put them in a vase, think of what could have been. Oh, you can't regret, you can only move forward and learn, so that is what I shall do. I cannot regret not having as many dahlias as I wanted because it was still a beautiful day, beautiful flowers, beautiful food, beautiful people, and the flowers were just a small part of that, so yeah, but I am proud of myself. There we go, that's better. Right, I'm rambling, so I think it's time to call it a day. This was very therapeutic, picking the pumpkins and picking the rest of the dahlias. I'm glad I came today because the lasting reminder I had was the panic cutting on the Monday evening when I had to do it in a spray tan, which was not ideal. So I'm glad I've come today and sort of rectified that memory. And I hope you've enjoyed this series as well. I will link the playlist. There's not that many videos in it for the wedding flowers because a lot of it was just normal allotmenting, you know, deadheading and stuff. So if you want the full vision, I would suggest watching all the allotment vlogs. Plug. And you can see how we came to this ending on the wedding flower series. I'm very sad actually. I wish I could have another wedding. I don't want another wedding. I want to be a bride again. It was so fun. Anyway, we'll call it a day. Take this to my allotment friend as a thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned for normal vlogs. They will resume if they haven't already, and all winter recipes and my winter hobbies get to come back, as well as winter allotmenting. I get to start knitting again. I knitted this jumper last year. What a great time. So yeah, thank you for following on this journey. I'm sorry this video wasn't the aesthetic, beautiful, twinkly winkly wedding flower cutting video that I had envisioned in my head, but it is what it is. I can't redo it. I could have probably redone it for dramatic effect, but we're real on this channel, and yeah, the real situation was it didn't go to plan, but it still turned out okay. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned for weekend vlogs. There's lots of recipes, homey stuff, me and Sam, Ted in the weekend vlogs, or just stick to the allotment vlogs. That's fine. I will be back. I need to tidy up the plot. It's gone a bit wild in 3 weeks, so we'll be back. I'll see you then. Goodbye. Love you all. Bye.
As you can tell, it's very cold now. It's like 6:45, so it's not gone dark yet, but I think the Polytunnel register got down to -0.8 last night, which is quite surprising. So yeah, it's quite cold all of a sudden. It's like the sun's disappeared and then that's it. I'm just cutting these at will. I'm just okay.
Done all the straw flowers and everything.
As all the ones that I can get done. There's only like little nubbins that aren't worth it.